Gun control in the United States. What should be done to protect the citizens of the United States? By Zach Wolver. My essay relates to the topic of the Second Amendment. The Second Amendment states a well-regulated militia, being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms, shall not be infringed. And here I have a simple little picture that kind of illustrates what the Second Amendment is about. The issue. Stricter guidelines should be taken to ensure that felons and mental health people do not purchase guns. Improving the Second Amendment background checks could actually prove to keep guns away from dangerous people even more than we thought before. Despite the common knowledge, it is actually quite easy to purchase a gun. At least in the state of California, people are able to go to any gun show or any gun event and actually purchase a weapon without any background checks. So a criminal from any background could go to a gun show in California and purchase a weapon without getting checked at all. So the reading that inspired me to write about the Second Amendment and gun laws from our textbook is by Justin Cronin, and it's called The Confessions of a Liberal Gun Owner. This reading really got me thinking of how gun control in the United States is such a hot topic these days. And it is interesting to me because the author that wrote this is very liberal, but he owns a wide variety of weapons. And that is kind of not normal for such a liberal man to be part of a gun club and own numerous amounts of weapons. In my slide, I have a quote from the book that goes, "I am a New England liberal, born and bred. I am also a Texas resident and gun owner. I have half a dozen pistols in my safe." So this reading really kind of hooked me on the idea of writing about gun control and how it is flawed in the United States. So in this essay, Cronin describes a situation where owning a gun has made for a safer environment for him and his family. The event was a massive evacuation due to a storm in his home state of Texas. Cronin describes the situation as his family and him were trapped in their car and the traffic was not moving at all. And he described how he felt much more safer with a pistol. And although this goes against the reason of my essay, it got me thinking that maybe a man who is a criminal or a bad man is able to, have a gun in that kind of situation and cause chaos and, even a tragedy. So that really got me thinking of why I should write what I wrote. Besides the essay by Cronin, there was a couple other factors that went into choosing my topic. One factor was it is all over the news. It seems like every day you hear about gun laws and how they can be stricter and different, back and forth arguments between both sides of the party. And that goes along with, there's also many tragedies that you hear about in the news that could potentially have been avoided or stopped if we had stricter guidelines, background checks when we allow people to purchase weapons legally. Actually, about 82% of tragedies like the Colorado shooting or the San Bernardino shooting, tragedies like those, 82% of them, the weapons are purchased legally. So it is a major factor that could help avoid or stop these events. And that goes along with lives can be saved if we restrict guns. So the thesis for my essay goes as: the violent shootings in San Bernardino and Colorado could have been avoided if stricter guidelines were put into place when buying a gun. So one of the sources I would like to evaluate is a day after the San Bernardino shooting by Matt Ford. This was an online source, but I found it to be very effective in my essay. I used quotes to effectively strengthen my essay points, and this website had very solid credibility. I made sure of it before I, used it for my essay. So my progress so far. Currently, I am 5 pages in. One thing I found hard, for me at least, was to stay on topic. And the reason for this is because there are many great arguments to both of the viewpoints of stricter guidelines on background checks for guns. There was great arguments on both sides, so it was kind of hard to stay on one side of the viewpoint. And the third thing I had trouble with, it was hard to narrow down solid information. I came across a variety of sources. So that was one thing that gave me a bit of trouble, and it's still giving me a bit of trouble. So what's next? So what's next for me is I'm going to start to finish my rough draft this weekend, and then also finalize all my writing and editing. So presentation goals. I had a few goals that I wanted to portray through my PowerPoint, and one was to help make my essay more clear. Describe what it's about and kind of paint a picture of what it will be. And then I wanted to enlighten my audience on something new that maybe they did not know before they listened to my presentation. And that concludes. Thank you.